What's up, guys? Welcome to the line change. Game just ended, so apologies for being a little bit late. I had to make a couple of last-minute adjustments. As you guys, actually, hang on. As you can see, I covered the TV. Had to put that up. But here we go. Our first post-game of the new season. And the Vancouver Canucks have won 5-1 against the Calgary Flames. We're going to break it down. We're going to recap it. But before I do that, as I always do, I want to give a quick shout out and thank you to my sponsor, Gassy Jack Art, maker of this fine and amazing artwork you see behind me. So you guys can check them out yourselves at gassjacart.com. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at this game. First, we got Irvin, buddy, in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. So yeah, let's go ahead. I'm going to share this. Where's that share screen? There we go. Let's wait for it to work. There we go. No. Oh, did not mean to do that. There we go. All right. Let's go ahead and check this out. So let's go ahead and break down the scoring. I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit. All right, so let's go with the first period. First period at 14:53, Kiefer Sherwood is the first Canuck to score a goal this season. I'll admit I had picked Evander Kane to score the first Vancouver Canucks goal of the season. I did not expect Kiefer Sherwood to do it, but hats off to Kiefer Sherwood. He's getting the first goal of the season, and I gotta admit, it was a beauty. And then, obviously, second period, there were no goals between the two teams. But third period is where things got pretty darn interesting. You had Filipino scoring his first of the season on a wrist shot, and then you had him scoring on a breakaway, which it was absolutely beautiful. And then, of course, you had Jonathan Lekaramaki scoring his first to make it 4-0. And then Boo Morgan Frost broke up the shutout for Thatcher Demko, making that 4-1. And then Brock Besser scoring to make it 5-1. Let's go ahead and break down these actual goals and bring out the goal visualizer. So as you can see here, puck is up here. Then you see Sherwood and Drew O'Connor pass it back and forth. Sherwood shoots it, boom, scores, goes in the net. Beautiful goal. Let's take a look at Filipino's first. Believe it or not, I believe I actually missed this one. So as I stepped out real quick, let's go in. So here's Hedl bringing it down the ice, taking it back, taking it over to the right side, shoots it, and then manages to score on his own rebound. Moving now to his second goal. As I mentioned, this was a breakaway. So we're going to go ahead and take the visualizer. See Filipino pass it back. And then Baines passes it up to Hedl. He comes down and he scores on Dustin Wolf. So let's go ahead and take a look at Mackey goal. All the way down. Evander Kane passes up to Lekaramaki, who shoots it and scores on Dustin Wolf. Now this goal I also missed. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Calgary goal. Baines tries to pass it up to Sherwood, gets intercepted. I don't know who number 16 is, but there you go. There's the lone Calgary goal. And then you have Brock Besser. Let's check out the Brock Besser one. Tyler Myers with the puck, up to DeBrusque, up to EP40, who slides it on over to Brock Besser, who grips it and rips it and manages to get it past Dustin Wolf. So there are the goals. Let's take a look at the penalties and see what the penalties were like. Go back. Obviously, that first penalty by the Canucks, a bit of a bad one. Too many men on the ice, but can't really have too much gripes about it. First game of the season. And hey, the Canucks did not allow a power play goal tonight. Both teams went 0 for 4. And then you had, obviously, the second penalty of the game, Jake Bean hooking against Jonathan Lekkerimaki at 15 minutes and 50 seconds of the first period. Moving on to the second period. This is where things got a little dicey, as Mackenzie Weegar ends up boarding Elias Pettersson, EP40, into the boards. And at this point, Pettersson actually went to the dressing room, as it seemed it was a pretty darn dirty hit from Weegar. And we'll get back to Weegar in a sec, because about 4 minutes later, Elias Pettersson, DPD, has almost an identical hit as that, only this time to Connor Zary. And for those of you that may remember, last season, Connor Zary had that dirty hit on DPD last year. Well, it looks like DPD got his comeuppance and got his revenge, as he absolutely, boarded Zary right into the boards. It looked brutal. Now, originally, the referees called this a 5-minute major, but then they looked at it again, and they basically decided that it was pretty similar hit to the one on Elias Pettersson by Weegar, so they ended up assessing it as a 2-minute minor. Moving on, we had Braden Pahal getting a high-sticking call against Drew O'Connor at 11 minutes and 1 second of the second period. Next up, you had Drew O'Connor, who clearly was holding the stick of Rasmus Andersson at 17 minutes and 52 seconds. Moving on to the third period, Filipino got called for tripping against Connor Zary at 35 seconds into the third period. And then you had Matt Coronado hooking against Jonathan Lekkerimaki at 5 minutes and 17 seconds. And then we had a couple roughing penalties between Sherwood and Mackenzie Weegar, as there was a little bit of some rough stuff at 9 minutes and 24 seconds. And I also want to point out, after their little scuffle between Sherwood and Weegar, Sherwood skated past Weegar and flipped him the bird. Basically, gave him a piece of his mind. And I'm sorry, I thought that was absolutely hilarious and makes me love Sherwood even more. So let's take a look at the 3 stars of the game. Obviously, Filipino, 2 goals. Thatcher Demko, 2nd star, had how many shots? 18. Had 17 saves, a .944 save percentage, and a 1.01 goals against average tonight. Then you had Kiefer Sherwood, who obviously got the scoring off in the first period. He is their 3rd star. Speaking of shots, let's take a look at the event summary? Let's check this out. No, that's not what I want. I think it's play-by-play. It's great. Let's take a look at the box score. Don't want the Flames. Let's take a look at the Canucks. So there you go. Brock Besser, 1 point, a +2, 17 minutes and 12 seconds ice time. He had 1 hit, 2 shots. Connor Garland with an assist, a +2, 18 minutes and 22 seconds, and also had a shot on goal. Looks like he also had a giveaway. R.C. Baines, who gets an assist, 14 minutes and 24 seconds. 2 blocks, 2 hits, and man, those 2 blocks were awesome. I think he most certainly saved a goal there. I believe the Flames were actually on the power play when he made those 2 blocks. Drew O'Connor with an assist, a +2, 2 penalty minutes, 13 minutes and 32 seconds for his time on ice. He had 1 shot, 1 hit. Jonathan Lekaramaki, 1 goal, a +1, 13 minutes and 42 seconds. 2 shots, 2 hits, and 1 giveaway. Excuse me. And then you had EP40 with an assist, a +1, but only 15 minutes and 39 seconds for Elias Pettersson. So it's a little surprising that, Besser and Garland have a higher ice time than him. Keep in mind, PD did go to the dressing room for a little bit after that hit by Mackenzie Weegar. PD had 1 shot on goal. He did have a missed shot that he just completely, missed the net. I will say, though, I was very impressed with Elias Pettersson's play tonight. He wasn't hesitating when he went to go shoot the puck. I know he technically only had 1 shot, but that one that he missed, he gripped it and ripped it. He just simply missed the net. But the fact that we're seeing PD, actually shoot and not hesitate is a very good sign. PD also had 3 hits. He also had a darn good, nice reverse hit earlier in the game that I absolutely loved. And you had, of course, Kiefer Sherwood, 1 goal, 14 minutes and 13 seconds of ice time, 2 shots, 1 block, 6 hits for Sherwood. So that's going to really help out my fantasy because I have Sherwood in my fantasy, at least I think one of my fantasy leagues. So he's going to help out with my hits. Atu, a +1, 11 minutes and 14 seconds. He had, 1 shot on goal, 1 giveaway. Philip Hedl, the star of the show, 2 goals, +2, 16 minutes and 25 seconds. He had 5 shots on goal, so 2 goals on 5 shots. Not bad. He had 2 blocks. Then you had Jake DeBrusk, who had, is that an assist? Yeah, it is. So Jake DeBrusk with an assist. So the Canucks' top line all got points here tonight. +1, 15 minutes and 20 seconds. So once again, DeBrusk's ice time was down a little bit. 2 shots on goal. Then you got Braden Coots, who unfortunately is a -1. Played 11 minutes and 14 seconds. And he had 1 hit, 2 giveaways, so that might be the reason for his minus. And then you had Evander Kane, who had 1 assist, was a +1, and had a ice time of 16 minutes and 40 seconds. He had 4 shots on goal, 4 hits, and 3 giveaways. So not too bad, or not, 3 giveaways. Yikes for Evander Kane. But let's look down at the defense. You had Phil Hronek, +1, 21 minutes and 52 seconds, 3 shots on goal, 2 blocks, 3 hits, 1 giveaway, 1 takeaway. Then you had DPD, who was a +1, 13 minutes and 12 seconds, 2 blocks, 1 hit, 1 giveaway. Derek Forbort, 15 minutes and 17 seconds, 2 blocks, a hit, and 2 giveaways. Marcus Pettersson, a +2, 18 minutes and 3 seconds, 2 blocks. Then you had Quinn Hughes, a +2, 25 minutes and 7 seconds for Quinn Hughes for his ice time, 1 shot, 2 blocks, 2 giveaways. And of course, you had Tyler Myers, a +2, and he had an ice time of 19 minutes and 15 seconds with 1 shot, 3 blocks, 2 hits. Excuse me. And then you had Thatcher Demko, 17 saves on 18 shots, 1 even strength goal. And as I said before, a .944 save percentage in this game. So there you go. Let's hang on, remove this, go back to the full screen. There we go. So yeah, that was the game. definitely one heck of a game for the Vancouver Canucks tonight. Big win. Obviously, they exercised their demon from last season. I mean, granted, Calgary did play the other night. Yes, they came back and, ended up beating the Edmonton Oilers in that game in a shootout. But let's take a look at some of your comments here. Irvin, did he flip the bird with a white gloved hand? I'm actually not sure if he still had his white gloved hand on. But if you look up on Twitter, search up Sherwood, I believe there's some video and maybe even someone like screen capping it. But he very clearly flipped him the bird as he skated past him. So I thought that was great. Irvin, again, crowd pop for Baines' PK efforts. Yeah, absolutely. Baines was fantastic on the PK, especially with those block shots, as I mentioned earlier. After Irvin, after seeing RC Baines tonight, what would you say to the haters? Just keep on hating. That's what I would say. Just keep on hating, And yeah, if I was Baines, I'd be like, hey, don't hate me because you ain't me. But yeah, Baines absolutely impressed me tonight. I will admit I was surprised that he made the roster. I thought, sure, he could have, or yeah, I guess he had an inside track, but I just wasn't expecting him to make it. And hey, I say the same thing about Lekaramaki. I wasn't expecting Lekaramaki to make the opening night roster, and he ended up doing so. But hey, you're not always right. But then also, as what Irvin just mentioned, in the chat here, Höglander is probably a big reason why R.C. Baines made the roster. Not that I'm saying that Baines doesn't deserve to make the roster, but that's probably a big reason why Baines made the opening night roster because of the injury to Niels Höglander, and they needed somebody on the wing. I know a lot of people have been, going back and forth about whether or not Baines deserves to be in the top six on the second line. I don't think he's going to remain there. I do think he's going to eventually, drop down to maybe the third line. I just think it seems like right now, Adam Foote really likes the line of Evander Kane, Coots, and Lekaramaki. He just wants to maybe see, Kane with those two young guys and see if they can, get some chemistry. I do know during the game that that Kane did get a look with PD and Besser for just a little bit. I believe it was during the second period. They had those three out there at the same time. We'll see if it'll happen again. Then Irvin, yeah, I did actually. Sorry, I'm still getting over a bit of a cold, so I have a bit of a cough. But yes, I did see this rejected offer for Marco Rossi. Whoops. Yeah, I saw Lego Rocks did this video on this. I watched just a little bit of it just to see what the actual offer was. And yeah, I did see that Minnesota wanted Coots, Ratu, and Wielander. I think there was a second offer. So the first offer was Wielander for Rossi. That was the first offer that the Canucks said no to. And then the second offer was, I believe, the 15th overall pick, Atu Ratu, and Artur Silovs for Marco Rossi. That second offer, I would absolutely, definitely not do. I would say no to that. I'm not one bit surprised, nor do I blame the Canucks for saying no to that offer. But the first offer, I don't know. I'm like 50-50 on that. Yes, Wielander is going to be a stud in a few years. Now, obviously, he did not crack the opening night roster, but I think all of us agreed that he needed more seasoning, and it probably was better for him to start in Abbotsford this upcoming season. But hey, even, if, I want to know what you guys think. Would you guys have done that trade, Tom Wielander for Marco Rossi? Would you guys have actually done that, knowing what you know now about how Wielander played in the preseason? Yes, that first preseason game, he didn't really look all that good. Granted, it was his first time, playing, overseas, in a NHL environment. So he probably didn't have his legs underneath him. And yeah, I do believe he got a little bit better as the preseason went along. But at the same time, and actually Irvin brings up a really good point with Braden Coots. Coots made the opening night roster. Who would have thought that was an actual possibility? Like, yeah, people wanted it. Like, oh yeah, maybe it'll happen. But Coots absolutely impressed during the preseason. And, despite him being a -2 tonight, I did like what I saw from him tonight. And I do think that the Canucks are going to pace those 9 games that they have for Coots. Obviously he played tonight. Maybe he won't play Saturday. Maybe they might have him out of the lineup for a couple nights or for the next couple games, just so they can space out those 9 games, unless they want him in for the next 9 games. Obviously, I would really like it if they did space out those 9 games for Coots, because who knows, maybe it'll give me a chance to actually see Braden Coots live, because I'll be going to the game on the 28th of October against the Rangers. So I'm really hoping that Coots is in the lineup for that game, but that's just me. But yeah, I want to know what you guys think. What did you guys think about the Canucks' effort tonight? What did you guys think about Filipino? What did you guys think about Elias Pettersson? Did you like what you saw? Did you like that reverse hit that he did? Did you like his speed? Did you like how Thatcher Demko looked tonight? I know he did that post-to-post save, and I'll admit I cringed a little bit, when I saw that, because of his, history. But it was an absolutely amazing save. As far as our power play, I'm not sure. I liked the fact that we got at least 6 shots on Wolf during the power play. But yeah, I have to agree with Irvin on this. The Canucks do too much on the perimeter. I did like the I didn't really pay too much attention to the power play. Obviously, it being the first game of the season, obviously you want to see better. But I guess we shall see when it comes to the power play. I am intrigued with Lekaramaki on the power play. I think I saw someone post on Twitter, after Lekaramaki's goal, perhaps Lekaramaki should get a look on PP1, especially with his shot. And I believe it was on the broadcast, may have been Ray Ferraro, actually, who was saying that Lekaramaki shouldn't be a passer on the power play. He should just be the guy who just grips it and rips it. And I have to agree with that. He should be the guy who, you give him the puck, you expect him to shoot. And just, get a good look and just put it on goal. And then hopefully it goes in. But, yeah, I guess what we'll see about the power play. I want to give it maybe a couple more games. And yeah, it's like what Irvin just said. It's, how quick he gets the shot off. It's, again, like what I said with PD. and the hesitation that he had last season. Shooting, Lekaramäki has absolutely no hesitation whatsoever, and he will just grip it and rip it. So, and yeah, that's exactly right, Irvin. Definitely key in the NHL today. But yeah, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about tonight's game. As I said earlier, exercising our demons from last home opener. Where we were shellacking the Flames, and they ended up basically doing the same thing they did to Edmonton the other night, just to us. So to start the 2025-26 season, the Canucks are 1-0. So obviously that is a positive compared to last year. Excuse me. Yeah, definitely room for improvement for sure. I'm intrigued to see how the game on Saturday goes. I'll be at Greta to watch that game, so there won't be a post-game show for that one, at least not that same night, because I'm not sure if I'm going to get home in time. So there won't be a post-game show that night, but maybe I'll try and do one maybe sometime on Sunday. We shall see. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. Post-game show, definitely not Saturday, perhaps on Sunday. Maybe I'll do it like maybe Sunday night or something like that. We shall see. Irvin, don't drink too much. Well, we'll see. Well, I probably won't go too overboard. So it is Thanksgiving, so that weekend, and I do have to work Sunday morning. So yeah, I'm not going to be drinking too much about that, but I am going to enjoy myself, have a good time, hang out with Alfred and the Canucks Army crew. That's going to be awesome. I heard Harmon Dial's going to be there, so that's going to be awesome. But that's going to do it for the first post-game show of the season. Your Vancouver Canucks win by a final score of 5-1. They are, as I said, 1-0 to start the season. Hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry, had a little air in my chest. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing you guys throughout the season. I'm looking forward to getting back into doing these game recaps and post-game shows. Obviously, it's been a while, as the Canucks hadn't played in a very, very long time. But looking forward to seeing you guys there. And as always, if you guys like this video, be sure to hit that like button. And if you want to stay up to date on all your Vancouver Canucks content, be sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on all your notifications so don't miss a single video. You can find us you can find us everywhere. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. Feel free to give us a follow on all of our social media platforms. And if you prefer an audio version of this podcast, you can find us on both Spotify and Apple Podcast. Once again, or on Spotify rather, feel free to give us a follow as well as rate and review us. It is, of course, greatly appreciated, and it really helps out the podcast. But that's going to do it for me. As always, go Canucks go, and I'll see you guys in the next video.